Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Welcome to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. Today again we are going to start the sessions, online sessions of compulsory English F5 BA, unit number 9 and unit number 10. Unit number 9 and unit number 10 are regarding the essay topic. The essay is a literary form which we are going to learn today, and onwards today we shall be in a condition to finish both the essays because both the essays are shorter one. So let us start unit number 9 and unit number 10. The block 2 unit 9 and 10 are about on the rule of the road, the purpose of life. The purpose of life is an essay written by J. Krishnamurthy, and on the rule of the road is the essay that is written by A.G. Gardiner. Now, first of all, we must learn what is the actual meaning of the essay, what is the definition of the essay, what is the actual etymology of the essay, where essay comes from, where is the genre of essay comes from, that we must have to understand. The essay is a short or a long descriptive writing on a particular topic, and it is known to be the literature, the article, the work of art which is explaining and argumenting about one particular topic. The topic is generally it is a singular topic, and many arguments, many descriptions, many paragraphs, many proverbs, many other ideologies, other thoughts of other authors or other philosophers are taken in one single essay, that is known to be the essay. Essay is the genuinely one particular genre which could be considered a very oldest one. As per the book of R.J. Rees, if anybody of you have referred R.J. Rees, you must know there is a literature book, the literary forms of the forms of literature, which is of R.J. Rees, and R.J. Rees has written every particular thing regarding essay in his last chapter. In that particular essay, R.J. Rees denoted that essay was found by Montaigne and many other ancient Greek and Roman writers, and there were other English writers who were writing essays like Francis Bacon, Charles Lamb, and many other great philosophers who had been writing. Indian English philosophers also were writing essays. So let's study the form of essay with a view to the particular PowerPoint presentation which you can see in the background of this presentation. Let us see the definition first. Essay is known to be the descriptive writing on any vernacular subjects coming out of individual's mind. Look, it is actually the creative non-fiction writing of individual's mind. Various themes or essays are books, religion, truth, love, democracy, as for example, etc. Francis Bacon, Montaigne, Bernard Shaw, Charles Lamb were popular essayists of English literature. The essay which we are going to learn over here is A.G. Gardiner's essay on the rule of the road. A.G. Gardiner is known as Alfred George Gardiner, a British journalist, essayist and editor. His essay Alpha or the Plough, his birth detail is mentioned over here as 1865 to 1946, and he was born in Chelmsford. His major works were Prophets, Priests and King, Leaves in the Wind. Gardiner's essays were graceful and humorous. he wanted to show the ideology, or he wanted to show the perspective in such a comic way, so that the society would come to understand what is the moral of the essay, what is the teaching of the, what is the pedagogy of the essay. But he tells everything, or he writes everything in his essay in a certain comic way, in a taunting way, or in a sarcasm. That's what he was having. His style is very famous. Gardiner is a liberal democrat. Social democracy is important, and then personal democracy is important. That's what he thinks. He believes that individual democracy is important, but one should always take care of social democracy. Individual democracy comes in the secondary part, and social democracy or universal democracy or general democracy must be kept in the front category, in the first part. That's what he believed. His essays are on superstitions, on habits, on rule of the road, and many other vernacular topics. Look, this is the main idea of his essay on the rule of the road. Main idea of his essay: liberty is not a personal affair, a social contract. It's a social contract, in the sense everybody has to take care of the liberty. It is not like that I am an Indian citizen and I have all the liberty to go anywhere. Though you are an Indian citizen, you must see that are you walking on the footpath or not. Whether you are walking on the road, you must see that you are the pedestrian, so you must walk on the footpath. That's what he gives in his essay. That was the first example which was given in his essay. A fat old lady, she is a free citizen. Look, this is the example which he had taken in his essay. A fat old lady, she was a free citizen, and she was walking in the middle of the street in Petrograd area. Why she was walking in the middle of the street? Because she believed that as she was a free citizen, she could walk anywhere. But this is not the case. Though you are a free citizen, you are the pedestrian, so you must keep the path, or you must keep the space for the other vehicles, for motorcycles, for bicycles and other vehicles, and you should walk on the pedestrian path which is given by the government. That you have to maintain. So liberty is not a thing that could be utilized by anyone in any sense. You can keep your hair, or you can wear the clothes what you like, you can have the color which you want to have, you can eat the dish what you want to eat. But when there is a matter of general liberty, social liberty, the liberty of the society, one must take care of individual liberty afterwards, and social liberty and social responsibility in the first category. That's what A.G. Gardiner wanted to explain through his essay on the rule of the road. Look, Gardiner says, if pedestrian walked freely, the cab driver would drive on footpath. Naturally, if that fat lady was telling that she could walk on the main road in the middle part, the car driver would certainly say that then I would go on the footpath. Naturally, this happens. So one has to take care of his and her responsibilities as well as liberty. Liberty comes afterwards. First, there comes the matter of responsibility. The rule of the road teaches us to preserve individual liberty. We have to improve our space and liberty. Social order and harmony. Curtailment of private liberty is a precondition. Look, social order and harmony must be maintained. If you are a music lover and you love to play the piano in the Sunday afternoon, naturally Sunday afternoon most of the people would be sleeping because it is the Sunday, and most of the people would be relaxing in their homes, and at that time you would love to play the piano. This is not the way in which one should behave, because when you play the piano, almost all the neighbors would be disturbed. So one has to see social order and harmony. Another person's liberty must not be curtailed. Curtailment of private liberty is a precondition. Look, Private liberty is a precondition, in the sense one has to see private liberty, but private liberty to that extent only that you are not disturbing other neighbors, other fellow beings, or you are not cutting the general social liberty that one has to follow. Our liberty becomes a reality only when it is adjusted with the liberty of others. Look, when you adjust with others, when you accommodate with others, when you see others' needs, when you see and think about others' perspectives and others' way of life, and you try to adjust yourself as per other ones, then and then only the social liberty is maintained, as well as you would be feeling happy about your individual liberty also. Personal liberty could be followed. A.G. Gardiner says that personal liberty could be followed in the matter of color, outfit, hairstyle, etc. You can eat whatever you wish to eat, but you must see what the government says about the rule of the road, about the traffic rules, about the government rules. There we can't say that individual liberty is an important thing. If you play the musical instruments, look, I told you on Sunday afternoon, neighbors could not sleep. A.G. Gardiner, his experience in railway carriage. Look, the beginning part of the essay discusses about the fat lady who was walking on the main road, and the cab driver argued that he would drive the car on the footpath, pedestrian path. That was the first example and first part of the essay. And the second part of the essay deals with this railway carriage experience that A.G. Gardiner had experienced when he was traveling. So there are 2-3 examples in the essay, and essay is genuinely about the individual liberty versus social liberty. That's the only 2-3 things that you should remember in this topic of unit number 9. While he is reading, some were talking loudly. Look, A.G. Gardiner was traveling in the train, and when he was sitting in the train and he was reading a book, some 2-3 persons, they were talking too much loudly. Listen the gramophone or playing the piano without disturbing the neighbors. Look, this is the same thing. He could not concentrate on reading in the railway train, and other persons were talking about their family members and their interest and the current movie, maybe whatever the topic is, but it shows that Gardiner could not concentrate on his reading, and he is not interested, still he had to listen to those persons who were talking. So this is the same thing that happened in that piano playing on Sunday or gramophone playing without disturbing the neighbors. The author concludes his essay. Look, the essay ends over here with the main note of the essay: be the socialist rather than the anarchist. One should see that he or she is following individual liberty without crossing the borders of the social liberty. Be the socialist rather than the anarchist. Individual liberty versus social liberty. This is the general conflict between individual and social liberty, but one must see whether social liberty is maintained or not. Rules of road determines civilized or uncivilized. There are rules of road, and rules of road identifies you, or it guides you that you should be considered a civilized person or an uncivilized person. When you are going outside and recklessly, if you are driving your Honda bike and continuously you are horning, you are doing that buzzing that horn, then this is genuinely shows that you are not an educated person, you are uncivilized. So rules of the road determines your personality also. That's what A.G. Gardiner wanted to explain over here. The rights of small people important as small nationalities. Even there is a saying in Narendra Bhai Modi, our Prime Minister, when he came to Bhavnagar once, he told that when the child goes on the road, the car driver should stop. It happens that the car is passing and the child stops and the car goes away. But does it not happen that the child passes and the car driver stops the car and waits. After the child crosses the road, the car driver can go. That is what is the example given by our Prime Minister in one of his talks. So the thing is that small persons, why I had taken the example of child, because small people, elderly people, aged people, blind people, little children, physically handicapped people, some kinds of certain small kind of people, they must be given proper facility or proper facility to cross the road. Small nationalities, the liberty and freedom are watchwords for today's society. Look, the society is determined by individual's liberty and by the freedom of individual, how the individual tackles the situation, how the individual goes in the way in which he should move, he or she should move, the way in which he should or she should follow the rules. That is an important factor to determine the future society. That's what A.G. Gardiner wanted to say here. Now let us discuss the next essay. This is also an essay, that is why I had combined both the essays together. Unit number 9, A.G. Gardiner's On the Rule of the Road. Unit number 10, The Purpose of Life, written by J. Krishnamurti ji. Now, as you know, J. Krishnamurti ji was the greatest philosopher and the greatest educationist. So we must remember how his ideology is reflected in way of life, in living the healthy, better and competent life. How he said his ideologies over here, that we have to learn over here. J. Krishnamurti ji, he was born in 1895 in Madras, and he lost his mother at very young age. This is the personal information about him. Annie Besant, the president of the Theosophical Society, she adopted him and she trained him to be the world teacher. Now J. Krishnamurti ji, the Order of the Star in the East, he was known to be the person who had written about the Order of the Star in the East, and he revolted against the teachings of the Theosophical Society, and he elaborated the significance of truth in real sense, as he supposed the importance of truth. He believed that what should be the actual purpose of human life. Human life is not bound only in gaining education, or human life is not the answer to become the rich class, superior class, luxurious person. Human life is not bound in making the greater personality to become the highly popular, politically the great person, but human life's answer deals with the understanding of the real truth. What is the real truth behind the living, being and having the life? That is what is his ideology reflected over here in the purpose of life. Understanding of the real truth, that's the most important thing. J. Krishnamurti ji, he was one of the greatest thinkers of 1930s. Look, and his ideology about life to find truth, as I told you, he encouraged questioning. Everyone should have a questioning mind. One should be inquisitive enough, he means to say. One should have certain inquisitiveness to get the knowledge, because inquisity is the mother of research. Inquisity is the mother of findings. So quest is necessary. If you have quest, or if you have questioning attitude, it's good. He dealt with problems of modern society to free people from fear, anger, sorrow and bondage of conditioning. Look, J. Krishnamurti ji believes that the most important thing that affects the human life, that is bondage of ideologies. If a person believes that certain things would happen due to certain things, they are merely bound in certain ideologies. So if a genuine human being wants to grow or wants to blossom, then he or she should be free from fear, anger and sorrow. These are the three main factors that basically damage the personality. He believed that all the humans and humanity is the biggest religion other than Hindu, Muslim, Christian, and other many religions. So he did not believe in the categorizations of the religions, but he believed that there should be only one religion, and that religion should be humanitarian attitude. Humanity is the biggest religion, to help others, to serve others, to love the human beings. That is important. His public talks, writings, discussions, his several schools, he had opened several schools which were established in India, England, and America. Everywhere we found his talks, his ideologies, his thoughts. His major works are at the feet of the master. He talked about awakening, the song of the life, the first and last freedom. These were his thoughts, and these were his essays which were very famous. And the main idea behind this particular essay, the purpose of life, is to understand the real meaning of truth. What is the genuine truth behind the living and being? That is his main point of view. Unconscious mind is a storehouse of desires. Look, as he told about fear, sorrow, and anger, these are the three main things which damage the personality. They are the actual storehouses of the desires. If a person has fear, if he has anger, if he has sorrow, then he or she would not be in a position to have free mind. Free mind is a mind that could be considered the healthy mind without any fear. It is a fearless, healthy, powerful mind. That's what he means to say. A storehouse of desires, hopes, fears, worries, prejudices, sorrows, all these create the mind the more weaker and the most weaker and the weakest. Thinker is not different from the thought, and I is an illusion that always deprives us of pure perception and happiness. Look, he means to say that when a person is thinking about himself only, or he or she is too much determined regarding his or her ego, I is for ego, then the person would be certainly having fear, worries, prejudices, and sorrow also, and anger also, because ego is the main factor to create the anger. So suffering is the greatest problem of humankind. Fear and insecurity are due to past or future. But why this fear and insecurity comes? Because fear and insecurity, they come out of anger and ego. Mainly there is I, that is ego. Due to ego there would be anger, and due to anger there would be fear and insecurity. In that way, all these four things, fear, sorrow, ego, and anger, are naturally harmful for human mind. And if human mind is surrounded with this fear, ego, anger, and sorrow, it won't be the free human mind. Desire is the outcome of fear, and to be free from desire, that is the process of ego. Look, when a person is too much desirous, he or she must have that much ego also. That's what he means to say. Now the last part occurs over here. His main ideology of the essay, the purpose of life is to decondition ourselves and live in present, here and now. When a person is in present moment, when a person is having healthy mind, it must be because he or she is in present moment. The greatest moment is now. There was one story of hermit, if you have listened that story. In hermit's three desires, the same thing is displayed, as J. Krishnamurti ji says that the greatest moment, greatest time is now. We are conditioned by our social, political, and religious milieu. Look, always we are conditioned by our social atmosphere, political atmosphere, religious culture. These are many different layers and layers of perspectives, and due to those layers of perspectives and social milieu, we behave with either fear, sorrow, anger, ego. But It should not be conditioned, and one must be free human being. The best and the greatest milieu, or the best and the greatest culture, is the human culture, human nature, that one has to keep in mind. That's what he means to say. Until we are free from conditioning, we cannot be free and happy. If a person wants to be happy and free, he should be without any conditioning. Just break all the conditioning and you would get yourself free and happy. Now this is the actual, the gist of the essay. This is the conclusion of the essay, or you can say the essence of the essay. This is the essence of the essay. So it should be written in your answer in the beginning, or it could be considered as the theme of the essay, the core part of the essay. Love and death are equal in true love. One is free from all attachments. He means to say that in death what happens? Think about the person who is dead. Does he have to worry about his children and son? If a person is dead, does he worry about his business? He would not. So it naturally shows that when a person dies, he is completely peaceful. He doesn't have to worry about the society or the children or business or any other thing. And the same thing must happen. It should happen in the matter of love. If a person is genuinely in love with another human being, he should be free from all attachments. Love should not be bound, or it must not be a strong tie. It should be a free feeling. One must be free from almost all the attachments and conditioning. Then only that is the true definition of love. It exists only if total freedom is there. Look, person should feel total freedom out of love. Then and then only the real definition or the real meaning of the love is exemplified. Death is unique, free from all attachments. So death is also the same thing like love. In death, a person is peaceful and he doesn't have to worry. The same thing should be reciprocally happened. It should be happening in love also, that a person could feel free and he should not have to worry about anything else. He opposed narrow-mindedness, male chauvinism, nationalism, war and violence of all types. Shri Krishnamurti ji had completely opposed narrow-mindedness, conditioning, fear, sorrow, anger, ego, male chauvinism. Even he believed that there should be global, whole world, each part of the world should be connected with each other, and that is the genuine thought of Krishnamurti ji. He believed in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is what is the ideology of the human being, of whole planet Earth. War and violence of all types must not be allowed for human life, or the purpose of life is not explained if there is war and violence. So he means to say that the purpose of life deals with freedom from attachments, and the purpose of life is explained in finding the real truth. So this is the end of the session. So we shall meet again afterwards in the next session. Goodbye all. God bless you.